Located in Pembrokeshire, deep in the southwest of Wales, you'll find Oakwood Theme Park, home to one of the UK's most notorious roller coasters and some beautiful landscaping. Yet despite this, it's the lowest rated UK theme park on TripAdvisor. So how does Oakwood stack up? Welcome to the latest video in our grading series here on Loop Theme Park Adventures, where we review 5 key areas of a theme park visit and give them a grade from A+ to F-, followed by an overall grade at the end. In today's video, I reflect on a quiet visit to Oakwood on Thursday the 10th of September 2020. If you enjoy what we do, then please subscribe to the channel and like the video. Let's get grading. Oakwood is home to 5 roller coasters, including the highly regarded Megafobia, a CCI wooden coaster which opened in 1996 and features a great layout in a picturesque setting next to the lake. And while it is highly enjoyable, it has got a little rough in its age. Speed No Limits was the first Gertzlauer Eurofighter to be installed in the UK and is for my money still the most enjoyable. There are also family coasters in the form of Treetops, a Zero Tivoli, which as the name suggests weaves between the trees, and Creepy Crawler, a Pinfari RC40 which despite being a relatively low thrill attraction still features over-the-shoulder restraints. Finally, the younger guests can get themselves a credit on Crocodile Coaster. There is also a bobsleigh and alpine coaster style attraction, although this isn't officially listed as a roller coaster on RCDB. So does this count as a cred? Let me know in the comments below. Further attractions at Oakwood include the really fun Spooky 3D, a ghost train with a couple of genuinely good jump scares, a disco with one of the most random and dizzying cycles I've experienced, and believe me, I've ridden a lot of discos this season. There are a couple of water slide attractions, a pirate ship on which I had a completely solo ride, which I always find a bit strange, the cauldrons and Witch's Brew. There is a boating lake which includes the best head chopper in the park in the form of the lowest bridge ever, as well as calf-burning paddle boats. Younger children are catered for with the Neverland section of the park, which features a nicely themed log flume called Skull Rock, a walk through Peter Pan attraction, the London Taxi Ride and Tink's Flying School, amongst other attractions aimed at the smaller adventurers. The park also features some upcharge attractions such as their huge Sky Swing Vertigo and a shooting range. Their main water ride, Drenched, is closed this season due to the pandemic, as is the train ride, and the park's Drop Tower Bounce is also not available this season while it undergoes extensive maintenance. Rise and Attraction gets a B-. Megaphobia and Speed are the obvious standouts here, but I quite enjoyed Treetops and Bobsleigh as well, and Spooky 3D is a really fun little dark ride. Younger guests are well catered for with a number of attractions in Spooky Street and Neverland, along with the various slides and family flat rides on offer. It does feel as though Oakwood could do with another couple of major attractions to become a true destination park though. Oakwood is well positioned within the Pembrokeshire countryside, which provides the park with some beautiful natural scenery. The view from the top end of the park looking down towards Megaphobia provides a particularly nice view, and really the idyllic landscape is Oakwood's main theming element, with Neverland and Spooky Street being the only real themed areas of the park. Neverland in particular is quite immersive though, but this is primarily a park with lots of open green spaces, and many of the standout attractions feature only basic theming, if any at all. But when you have the imagery of Megaphobia's huge wooden structure reflecting in the lake, I guess large scale theming isn't strictly necessary. Oakwood was very quiet on the day that I visited, which was great for ride wait times, but it did mean there wasn't much in the way of atmosphere around the park. That being said, there was still a nice welcoming vibe to the place, almost relaxing in fact, which is not an adjective commonly associated with theme parks. However, the balance between serene and thrill is nice when struck effectively, something Oakwood for the most part managed to achieve. If there's one criticism, it's that the first impression after you walk through the entrance plaza is of some empty green space and the out of service Drenched, drained of its water and looking a bit worse for wear. A more spectacular view here would add a lot more wow factor. Also, Megaphobia could perhaps do with a bit more love, as it was riding a little on the rough side, and this is, as Oakwood describe on their website, the jewel in their crown. Look and Feel gets a B- grade. There's little in the way of grandiose theming here, but the natural scenery provides a nice setting for the park's attractions to nestle in, and there is a chilled out ambience throughout most of the park. As previously mentioned, it was a very quiet day in terms of guest numbers when I visited, so wait times were minimal and operations were mostly very good, with the park's ride staff being polite and efficient without necessarily having to work at breakneck speeds to satisfy a requirement for high throughput. So it would be interesting to see how the park operates on a busier day. Other than a few rides being out of service, I certainly didn't see anything to suggest why this would be the lowest reviewed park on TripAdvisor though. Service throughout the park from all staff was generally good, with a couple of standouts being the operator on a pirate ship who was in high spirits despite operating a ride which had minimal guest interest, and the guy running the photo booth on Speed who commented on my ride photo being the best of the day. I bet he says that to everyone though. In terms of COVID safety, Oakwood are employing many of the same methods we've seen at other attractions we've visited this year, with hand sanitizer stations being located throughout the park, albeit not in many ride queue lines, and social distancing markers were in place to keep groups of guests separated. There were no requirements to wear masks on any of the outdoor attractions, although rides were being sanitised regularly. This gets a B- grade, solid operations throughout, although it was a very quiet day. All staff I experienced were friendly and professional, and COVID safety measures were adequate. If Oakwood has a weakness, then it's with the food and drink options. There are only a few restaurants available, with the main offerings being the Burger Bar, the Pizza Restaurant and the Oak Tree, which is located right at the front of the park. The Little Darlings Cafe in Neverland was closed on my visit. Like the majority of the guests I saw on park, I opted for the Burger Bar, which was fairly underwhelming. A not particularly great burger and chips meal sent me back £8.25, which is pretty standard pricing for a theme park, but it was like eating beef flavoured cardboard. Perhaps pizza would have been a better choice. Giving dining a D, a limited selection of not very appealing food here, which admittedly has been par for the course at a lot of theme parks this year, but even still I can't really justify anything higher than a D grade. An adult day ticket to Oakwood sent me back £32, with child's entry being slightly less. As with all major attractions in 2020, advance booking is essential as there is no option to pay on the gate, which is to be expected. Annual passes are available from £62. Car parking is completely free of charge, which is always great to see, but there are a number of attractions which incur an upcharge, such as Vertigo and the shooting range. On-ride photos are available on the headline attractions, and there is a limited merchandise range on offer in the park's main store, although the majority of clothing items were themed to Oakwood rather than being ranges dedicated to the likes of Megaphobia and Speed. If you're a fan of these attractions and would like some merch to show off, then you'll have to settle for the likes of mugs and pin badges rather than clothing. Value for money gets a C+. Park entry is fairly reasonable, and I would say is in line with what you'd expect to pay for the type of park and the attractions on offer, and is therefore neither particularly great or bad value. Having a number of upcharges is not ideal, but free parking is always a nice bonus. So overall, I'm giving Oakwood a B- grade for what is a decent, solid park. I enjoyed my day here and there is a lot to like. The ride lineup is solid if not spectacular, and it's a pleasant looking and feeling place to spend a day in, but it can't be ignored there is clear room for improvement in a number of areas. Oakwood's location makes it prohibitive for guests from large parts of the UK, so another couple of big hitting rides would help it become more of a destination park. That being said, from my experience, it certainly doesn't justify some of the negative reviews it's received, and I'd be more than happy to return in a not too distant future. Have you visited Oakwood Theme Park? Do you agree with my grades? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and get involved in the discussion in the comments below. If you'd like to follow our theme park adventures, then subscribe to the channel and enable notifications. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/looptpa and on Instagram @looptpa.